welcome back to a brand new episode of the Who What Now Gaming Podcast. Podcast for consumers by consumers, where we ask the questions: who are you, what got you into gaming, and what type of gamer are you now? I am your humble host, Josh Stewart, and today we are met with an absolute treat. I'm very, very, very excited for this conversation. It's been in the works for a bit of time now. DJ, but also, Twitch streamer, gamer, fan of all kinds. Please help me welcome Simon. Simon, how are you today?
Good, man. How you doing?
I'm doing amazing. It's a really good day. We are wildly different in time zones. I'm very excited for that. We were even able to, match this up, as well as we did. So I'm pretty excited for that.
Yeah.
For starters, let's dive right into it. For those listening, for those who may not have discovered you yet, who are you? What are you about?
All right. So my name is Simon, also known as djcinegee on the streaming platforms on Twitch and stuff. And I am a professional bad gamer and an all right DJ.
I love that title. I saw it in your profile. It's such a perfect way to describe. I've always just kind of said that I'm like a variety streamer, but that doesn't really ever mean anything. So I really appreciate the professional bad gamer.
Yeah, that's true. I am a very, very bad gamer, but I came late into gaming.
Yep.
So I'll go into that in a bit.
Absolutely. Well, let's. I wanted to go into because DJing is a big part of the entertainment that you provide for the world and for your streaming and stuff. It is incredible. But I wanted to touch base in the very beginning with the gaming. Because I did see that you have been recently playing one of my favorite games of all time, Mafia 2.
Right. Okay.
And I don't know if it's because I love the game because of what it is, or because it was like one of those newer experiences in my like gaming love and entertainment and stuff, but it
Yeah.
holds such a nostalgia for me. And I always remember that one game mechanic that it had that I've never seen in any other game, where you could actually like set your speed so that you wouldn't get like noticed by like the cops and stuff. How you enjoying the game?
So I've finished the game,
Yeah.
and I enjoyed it. So I bought the Mafia Deluxe remake, whatever it is. I've never played those games before, right?
Yeah.
And I'm always looking for like good story based games. And I saw someone that came up on Twitch that were playing it, so that looks kind of cool. Like I might get into that. And I just saw there's three Mafia games, and there was like the original, which I didn't know was like a really old game, and the one that I was watching was like a remaster, and I was like, oh, and I didn't know it was a remaster. So when I got onto the Steam, and I was like, oh, there's three. Which one is it? The definitive version? Is it this version? So I bought them all, and I then played the first one and absolutely loved it. Loved the story, loved the setting, and it reminded me of the movie Casino and Goodfellas, which are like some of my favorite films. And played it, finished it, and then had a break. I'm trying to think what I played after that. I can't remember what I played from that. It was probably something else. And then I played, do you know what? I'll have a go of Mafia 2. And I started playing it. I'm like, something's not right here. The graphics look crap compared to like what I've just played. And I'm going, is this right? And I'm like going on forums and stuff, and they're like, yeah, apparently the remaster, they made everything all again. Like they did the whole thing again from scratch. The remake, they did everything from scratch. The remaster, they just kind of went a higher quality here, make that person look a bit better. So at first, it's like I can't play that. Like there's, for me, a game master, like there's a massive disconnect with me with like games with like really bad graphics, and I know people go, it's not about the graphics, it's about the story, and I kind of get that. But it was like because I was so used to that experience playing the first one, and
Yeah.
then I was like, oh, I don't know if I like this. And then I started playing it, and I was like, actually, it's quite cool. And then the bad graphics or the age graphics kind of just like disappeared, and I got well into the story. And then I finished that, and yeah, I really enjoyed it, and I liked. I was the whole time I was playing it. It's like, well, how do they link the first one into this? Like, where's the like connection? And then when I saw that, I was like, that was well impressive. So yeah, I was like, yeah, it was cool. I enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, no, absolutely. I'm definitely there with you when it comes to games and their graphics. I've been playing games like my whole life, but
Hmm.
I do struggle to go back and try like a new game for me that has been out for, a lot of, years.
Right.
And sometimes you do find games where they say like, oh, we're going to remaster it or we're going to vamp it up and we're going to make it look nicer, but then you end up getting the same game and it almost looks worse in a way because of what they've tried to make better. Doesn't feel like the original game anymore.
Right.
And so yeah, I'm definitely there with you when like a game has to look a certain way for it to fully grasp my attention. That being
Yeah.
said, if a game's story is incredible, yeah, I can easily overlook it. It's not too difficult, but I
Okay.
love it. It's fantastic. Yeah, Mafia 2 was great. So you haven't played Mafia 3 yet.
Started playing it.
Started playing it. Okay.
Started playing it. Well, hang on. I started playing it. It was like, oh, actor graphics look good on this one.
Yeah.
They've gone back to good graphics, and I got about an hour into it, and I was like, I don't like the story. I don't like the setting. And I know at the beginning it's got a disclaimer saying we feel the right way to make this game is to be honest to the time and the language that's used. Basically, they're trying to use an excuse to be able to say slurs, and I'm like, that doesn't wash
Yep.
with me. Just because it happened, and they're saying they're trying to say it's disrespectful if they water it down, and I'm like, no, you don't. You can do the same story without the the slurs because it's a game at the end of the day. You know what I mean? It's not like
Yes.
it's not educational. It's definitely not educational.
Right.
So that very quickly hit the uninstall button, and I'm never
Yep.
going to play it again. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm actually really glad you said that. Actually, because I was that is Mafia 3 is the one Mafia game I did not finish, and
Right.
I played it when it first came out, and I gave it probably about a weekend to kind of play.
Yeah.
And yeah, I felt kind of like the same way where I was like, I didn't like the setting, I didn't like the story, I didn't really like the way that the game was trying to tell its story. But then at the same time, I full heartedly agree. Like there's a point where this isn't like an educational video. We're not supposed to be learning things from this. Like you're just telling a story. So
Yeah.
yeah, there was parts where I was like, this feels uncomfortable, and I can't get into the game as much as I want to, and it was a big struggle. So yeah, that one also made it to the uninstall list, and I did not complete that one. But it is kind of nice to know that there's a lot of people who share that same thought. Um, it is definitely not the fan favorite of the three games,
No.
which is and it still seems like Mafia 1 and Mafia 2 are like top of that list,
Right.
which was awesome because it like Mafia 2 to me was a fantastic story,
Hmm.
and I loved every bit of it. I think I played that game maybe 4 or 5 times
Oh
in my
wow.
lifetime. Yeah, I loved it. But I love that era, and I love the like the design of the game. It even though the graphics may not hold up to today's standards,
Mm.
it still had a flow of the game that I don't feel like a lot of games have hit since then.
Right.
And I've always really appreciated that.
Okay.
So what do you remember like the first games you got into?
Uh, So what I should have told you before this was I was um from Monkey Islands 1, Secret of Monkey Islands 1, right? To 2020 COVID.
Yeah.
There might have been one other game I played. I hadn't played any games from that period.
Yeah.
Um yeah, I was never really a gamer. But the pandemic kicks in and I was DJing on when I say DJing, I didn't have any like equipment, but I got some free software that I could DJ with, and I would just do it on Facebook, and I kept getting closed down, and I'm like, what the? Why do we? And it was because Facebook are just Nazis.
Yeah.
So my friend ADJ, who was like, you should try Twitch, DJ on there. And I'm like, I ain't going on that website. Like, first of all, obviously the website is updated a hell of a lot since then. But I just
Yes.
remember the UI was horrible, and it was like, why do I want to? What I don't get it. Like, there was a massive disconnect for me with that. But I got it because I could stream on there and not get kicked off. And then he said to me, like, because me and him are like very close, like best friends. And like I spoke to him maybe a week or two later, and he said, "Oh, he was in so and so's stream." I'm like, "Who?" And then before you know it, like started to meet all because we were all locked in our houses.
Right.
So then I started to meet like all the streamers, and then I started to like get into games. And before that, literally the only game I played was maybe Star Wars Battlefront 1 and 2. I like that was the only
Nice.
game on my computer. And I was like, the own because I'm a video editor, video creator by profession. So I've got
Very
a decent
nice.
machine. And when those Star Wars games came up, I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna get them. And I got them. This is way before the pandemic. So that was really I didn't have much interest in games, and now I've like when the pandemic kicked in, and then the whole streaming thing started to get in, I started to get like more games and more games, but I still don't consider myself like a gamer. Um, like even today, the terminology that gets used goes well over my head. Um, and there's a lot of games that people go, "Oh, you've you've got to play it. You'll love it." And then when I tell them I tried it and didn't like it, they're like, "What?" Like my uninstall list of shame is
Yeah.
people lose their mind when I tell them the games that just
Yeah.
I didn't get into. Yeah,
Yeah. No, I mean, and you know what? I'm super happy you said all that because that's something that I want to change big time is the the stereotype of what a gamer is.
right.
And to me, like a gamer can be anyone who enjoys, gaming of any kinds for as long as whatever,
Yeah,
I'm a super nerd. I love the stereotypical one, the Dungeons and Dragons. I've always enjoyed that. I've always loved like the role playing aspects. I love a good story. I may not look like it, but I'm a big like audiobook person. I love a good story. I love a good tale. And if some form of entertainment can provide that, then please like dive into it,
yeah,
enjoy it, embrace it, enjoy who you are and love what you do. And so though we've had discussions before about the cozy games,
right.
our cozy gamers kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And like, yeah, of course, even those who like my wife is not a stereotypical gamer, but my wife does enjoy passing the time, just trying to let her mind melt from like a long day of work, and playing some like mobile game on her phone,
Right.
which is typically some form of like Candy Crush something or other.
Okay.
But it's still a form of gaming, like it's something to enjoy. And what I found so interesting about your streams and why I wanted to definitely have you on the show
Mm-hmm.
is for one main aspect that I think a lot of gamers ignore or don't know how much they appreciate it, but we all do appreciate it to an immense level, and that is the music
Okay.
behind all of the entertainment that we love
Mm-hmm.
behind our gaming moments. If you ask any gamer, and there's that, I think they've made like memes about them on the internet or something, where you're sitting back in your chair, you're relaxed and stuff, and as soon as something intense starts happening while you're playing a game, you have that lean forward moment. You kind of get in the zone. a lot
Right.
of us a lot of us have that same moment, but then there's a third step. And that third step is where you ignore all the sounds and the in-game music, and you put your own music on. And
Mm-hmm.
I cannot tell you how many times I have sat here at night, not streaming, playing a game that I am so invested in, and your stream is playing in the background, and I'm just listening to you DJ. It
Right.
is it is such a vibe that all gamers will get into. There's you have those who have set playlists. There is certain genres of music that people will listen to while they're really trying to dive deep into a game,
Yeah.
and as much as gamers may not admit it, music and gaming go so unbelievably hand in hand.
Sure.
And so with streaming and DJing, uh, it may not be a thing where I'm actively in the chat, but when I am at your stream, it is plugged into my stereo. It is it's sitting, I have a small like triangle, speaker thing that I keep in the office while I'm
Yeah. Yeah.
doing these things, or I'll just put full headphones on and just completely immerse myself into the music, and it's fantastic. So number one, your streams are incredible, and I love them. And the I it's always funny because I never know what type of music to like request,
Yeah.
because I'm uh creating these flawless and seamless playlists
Mm-hmm.
is something that is something that my brain just does not break down. And so like you have a vibe going on, you have a song going on, and you're starting to hit to like a transition point, and I think, oh, I would love to hear this specific song right now, but I have no idea how
Mm.
you would blend those two things together. And so I always chicken out and stuff. But I wanted to get into that. So like first and foremost, what goes into the setup or the preparation for one of your streams?
It's a great question. Um. So I was a DJ from 15, like a actual real DJ. That's the first thing I got into.
Oh wow,
My
nice.
my sort of creative history at 12 years old, I wanted to be an actor, and then I decided I was shy. So then I wanted to be a director, and then this was at a time when it was like Hollywood and movies seemed literally like another world away. Like the internet made the world
1,000%.
a lot
Yes.
smaller. So I just never thought, oh, I can't do that. And then I always liked music. Like my family, like my dad is a musician, and growing up around like Liverpool, we've got big musical history and stuff. Got an older brother, and like his thing was the guitar, and me and my brother well, he's older than me. He's like 5 years older than me, and I'm like, well, that's his thing. I don't want to do that. So I want to do my thing. Like my dad was like, "You learn guitar." I was like, "I don't want to learn the guitar." But what I would like to have learned is like keys and notes and musical theory. I haven't
Yeah.
got a clue still about that. So then I thought, you know what, like I'll get into DJing, and I got into DJing before it was cool. So I was going to nightclubs at like 15, and I was like such a shy kid, um, and the only way I like overcame my shyness was I thought, well, you know what? I'm going to put myself right in the middle. I'm going to be the DJ. Well, that was the aim. They didn't start like that straight away.
Right.
I bought myself some CD decks, which were like you actually like an old school CD player that you were twins. You and they had like this little joystick to like speed up the track and slow it down, and then you could like a
Mm-hmm.
little mixer and stuff. And I just spent a whole summer learning how to mix. That was like my thing. I was like, because I was starting college the following year, and I was like, I want to have this nailed by college because A, it can be like an income, and B, it can be a way to like go to clubs and not feel like a tit.
Absolutely.
So I then got into that. was obsessed with music releases. People used to I could predict like what song or what tune, like we call them tunes, was gonna be like make it big. Like, and that was my thing. I always loved playing new music. I wasn't a big fan of playing like requests and stuff like that. It was like
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to sort of express myself and do my own thing. And that's kind of carried over to what I do with streaming, but with the DJing thing. So I had an Amiga 500 back in the day. That's aging me, I know. And I would make my own records because I'm like, the records I want to play don't exist. So I
Right.
would start like taking samples from records and then learning how to put them together. So I can put a tune together. Like I can put like a dance track together. So I just got really, really into like house music and dance music and the like, and also like the UK back in the late 90s, early 2000s. I mean, it was the place for dance music. Like Europe, I mean, America was, don't shoot me, but they were very slow at catching up with like with EDM. Like I think Skrillex was one of the first ones to kind of make it like noticeable. I know you guys had the Chicago house scene, but other than that, like we had Ibiza, which was like, there was this like every summer you'd have like Ibiza anthems because Ibiza was like the party like island in like in one of the lyrics in Spain. And yeah, so I just got heavily, heavily into the dance music, and I would start recording CDs and tapes for friends. And that like one of the first things they would say to me, "If you got a new mix, you got a new mix," and I would be like just sharing my mixes around, and I would have like friends of friends saying, "You're going to end up as like this big star DJ. You don't need to worry about your career and fucking all this." And I was like, "You know what? I am going to be the best DJ in the world." And when that didn't happen, because obviously you need to work at that, you need to put yourself out there. I was
Right.
like, career. Yeah, I need to actually work. Um, so yeah, bringing it back to what I do now about the music and the DJing and how much preparation goes into it, I will have certain tracks I know I definitely want to play. Throughout the week, I will listen to probably like 500 new records on Spotify.
Wow.
Um, I've got a thing on my stream deck because I work from like my home office. So when I hear a record that I like, I've just press this button on my stream deck and it adds it to this playlist. And then at the end of the
Oh,
week, I go and
nice.
hunt those tracks, and that's it. When it comes down to requests, if I had my thing set up, I could show you a demo, but I've been having major audio problems recently, so probably not a good idea. So someone requests a song, what I would generally do is I would be like, right, I think that could work with that. So I will get that track, and with my software now, I can basically strip out the vocal or the drums or the bass or the melody. So, and if I can just get like a part of that and have it looping, then I can sort of bring it in slowly. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. It's kind of knowing like the phases of music and you're just taking the risk. I mean, at the end of the day, if it sounds bad, well, only 10 people have heard it. You know what I mean? It's not the end of the world.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it does make me laugh when I see all these. I see a lot of these courses now. Learn how to DJ. I'm going to teach you how to DJ and buy my course to DJ. You can't buy a course. You can't teach someone how to DJ. You can show someone how to press play, and you can show someone the basics of what goes into it. But I mean, to DJ, it just takes time and know what you play and know your tracks. It's not about how you mix them; it's about what you play. Um, One of the things I learned, there's a DJ called Jeremy Healy, back in the day, and he used to put out these mixtapes, and he would play some really random stuff. And I remember him in an interview, he said, a good reaction or a bad reaction is better than no reaction. And I'm like, yeah, perfect
Yeah.
sense. You don't want to ever have your music as like I've back in the day when I used to DJ, I'd have like a bar phone up and say, "Can you come in and DJ for a few hours? Just need background music." I'm like, no, I'm not a background DJ. I don't want to just be having stuff in the background. I want people to fucking listen and be like, do you know what I mean? So that was my approach to DJing.
That is awesome. And also a lot of things I didn't know. It did kind of kind of trigger a question that has always kind of rolled around in the back of my mind for like a long time. So let's say you have a song that you want to play,
Yeah.
and it's a bit different than maybe the current song that's playing.
Hmm.
How many or what do you kind of go through in your head as you kind of set up the maybe like the next song or the next two songs to kind of get that vibe to where you want it to go? Or do you just know how to kind of bleed one song into another song almost seamlessly?
Um, Streaming's completely different. Like you can do whatever you want with streaming. In a club,
Right.
my thing was like, you when you used to when you start as a DJ in a club back in the day, you would have like my first slot was between 9 o'clock and like half nine, 9:30,
Yeah.
and I was bricking. It was like this is gonna be fucking hard work, man, because it's like, well, there's no one in there, but I was terrified because it was like the first like proper gig I have had. But the way it works is you would have your early DJ on, then when you had like your warm up DJ on, and then you would have your main DJ on, and the sort of rule has always been blend into the DJ's last record so that it's seamless. And that
Mm.
just never washed with me. So I would literally turn off the other DJ's last track. Not like so it just goes cuts dead, but usually I would just like turn off because this was on vinyl on like 1210s, on Technic 1210s, which is like still the industry standard for vinyl decks. And you turn it off, and what would happen is the record would literally just slow down to a stop. And when you do that, the crowd would be like, "What the fuck is going on here?" They would turn around and be like, "Someone's messed up." And I love that. I love it. I love a reaction when people think he's messed up, because you get their attention. And then I would start with an absolute banging tune, like a song that is just gonna like blow them away. Um, and then it's like I'm here. Like I often would start with like intros from movies and like just something to stand out and be a bit different.
Okay.
Um, I did this one. It was a Halloween party. I was doing a gig at, and this club held probably about 3,000 people, which was a pretty big club at the time. And I had the whole Scream costume on, Scream mask. This is just after Scream had come out, I think, or maybe a year or two after. And what I did was I got that whole opening of Scream with that phone call and that talk and that build up. Because if you listen to it, it gets more intense as that scene progresses. And I had
Yeah.
this record called Nightmare by Brainbug, right? If you know, you know. And it's kind of like a very creepy, like techno trancey type track, but it was perfect. And the timing of the movie to the timing of the track building up worked so well. And I used to live for that stuff, like just so it would be something different rather than just being blended into everybody else.
Sure. That's
So yeah,
awesome.
questions into like what do you do before you play a track that you're kind of not sure about. I would call it the carpet like beneath your feet mix. So it's like if you've got all your crowd on there and they're all getting into this kind of maybe funky house or something, you go and just pull it from them under them, and then you're like, oh shit, now it's gonna be this. Yeah, sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't.
I really love that because it's like a shock to the system, but it's intentional.
Yeah,
So it is fun to be able to know that you sitting behind the screen or as at a live performance, like the crowd doesn't know what you're going to do, doesn't know what you're going to play, and then when as you say, you sweep the carpet out from under them, and it's that shock to the system where they're like, oh, this guy doesn't know what he's doing or whatever, and then you just hit him with a banger, and it's that is awesome, and I love that so much. That is so awesome.
one of my favorite things to do, and like the biggest tool in a DJ's like education, whatever you want to call it. One of the biggest things that I use is anticipation. So you've got that, like, I don't understand now why records, especially dance records, like, they're 2 minutes long. That's barely enough time for it to do its thing. So I would love it when you've got like the build up of a track, and like one thing I often do now, like there's a track by the Killers, like a remix I've got of the Killers, and it's the part when it says, "I've got soul, but I'm not a soldier," and that
Mm-hmm.
builds up. Well, in the edit that I've got, it just plays it like once, and it sounds cool, and then it goes like into the track. Well, I get that. I've got soul, but I'm not a soldier. But I will have that loop. I'm not joking, for like 2 minutes, and I will
Yeah.
bring it down and and like tweak with the EQ, and tease it in, and so by the time it absolutely comes in, it's like, wow, it's such a release. So yeah, Thomas Bangalter, who was part of Daft Punk, he said the best form of dance music is most repetitive dance music, because it becomes hypnotic until it gets boring, and that's when you
Yes.
change.
I,
So,
I was I was actually trying to figure out a better way of saying this, but I have a lot of music friends, a lot of those who have gone on their own paths to create their own music, those who just purely enjoy memorizing and playing others' musics and stuff. I work in the like live entertainment music industry and stuff,
mhm.
and so like music is very very big to me, and it always has been throughout like my whole life. And not to get use this terminology as like a an inappropriate kind of thing, but I did speak to someone who at one point was saying that like house music is so amazing solely because it is almost like the artist behind the creation of what you're basically going to be dancing to the entire night. They're consistently trying to edge you with every single like song, and that constant repetition is, and you're in the crowd, and you're waiting for the drop, or you're waiting for the absolute like the hit of the main portion of what of the song is supposed to be, and it's just building and building and building, and you feel that tension inside, and all you want to do is just jump to as soon as that beat hits, and it's just holding you on that edge, and it's just consistently building, but it's enough that you're not losing the interest, and you're just waiting and anticipating for it over and over and over, and you just can't wait until finally it hits, and it is just euphoric. You feel amazing. You're dancing with your friends, you're vibing out or whatever. Like it is some of my favorite things to listen to when I'm either working or I'm gaming, or if I'm if I'm doing like a project or something. And I personally, I love music that like it almost kind of like syncs up to the heart rate kind of thing. I
Right.
love that. I love that so much. I love music that makes me want to get up out of my seat. Like I can't dance for shit like at all. I am it's more it probably embarrassing to the people who ever see me dance, but it won't stop me from doing it
Yeah.
because it's so good. It wow, it's incredible. I love everything about it. It's so awesome. Is this your preferred like style, or style of music to kind of like put together, is like the house music and the or because I correct me if I'm wrong, like the dubstep phase and house music are very different, correct?
Yeah. I mean, so it really depends, because there's space for all of it. I was actually talking to another streamer the other night. He was doing a DJ. Well, he was going through his records actually just on stream, just going through his hard drive and whatnot.
Nice.
And we were just talking about various things, and I told him that I got really bored of dance music probably in like the late 2000s. No, 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 no.
Okay.
The late 90s and early 2000s.
Yep.
It was like Daft Punk were doing their thing, and I loved Daft Punk. They were great. But there was this new movement building, and this is how I met my very good friend who I mentioned before, ADJ. Met him on a remix forum that was about bootlegs, about making mashups. Now, what you got to
Nice.
understand is mashups did not exist before 2001, or they might have done, but not to this kind of level.
Mm-hmm.
So I was getting bored of dance music, and I remember hearing, I was working in an office at the time, and there was an advert all the time on the radio for this Christmas DJ set by these guys called Soulwax. And I remember hearing clips of this, and I was like, that sounds fucking amazing. And it was like Destiny's Child singing over Nirvana, and it was like mind blowing to me. It's like, what is this? So they did this set called Radio Soulwax, and it was on BBC One on Christmas Day at like 8 p.m. And I was like, I don't care if I'm at families. I'm listening to this pre-recorded set, and I listened to it. And like the next day, everything just felt different. Like the dance music just felt stale. And what I loved about them was they were mixing rock, rap, techno, house, country, drum and bass, all in the same set. And I'm like, this is the future. This is the
Wow.
bollock. Yeah, it was insane. It's available on YouTube, that set. It's called Radio Soulwax, Too Many DJs. And it was all these bootlegs. So I was like, I need to get a copy of this. So I found this forum, and it was loads of people in this remixing scene who were making their own tracks. And I remember listening to a few, thinking, I need to get into this. So I got myself a copy of it was Sony Acid Pro 3, and I just one day it just appeared on my computer. That was it, and I made my own like bootleg record, and it was sampled the Dandy Warhols. I forget what the track's called. It was the what's it called? You know the Dandy Warhols? Probably. Do you know them?
I know of them.
Yeah,
But I'm not familiar
I
enough to
can't
jump
remember the
in.
name of the track, but Bohemian Like You. That was it. It was a Bohemian Like You, and then I had an acapella of Pink, Get This Party Started, and I just put those
Oh
two
yeah,
together,
okay.
and it worked a treat. So I uploaded it to this bootleg website. There were people, like a forum where people were reviewing your tracks. And this guy, his name was Churchill. He was like, "Oh, it's really cool." And I was like, "Oh my god!" And I was like, so excited. So I even took oh my god, it's embarrassing now, but I took a screenshot of the forum, like, because I was so happy that someone like liked what I'd made.
Yeah.
And then the next thing I posted, he was like, "That's shit." I was like, "What the fuck?" And then like that's how me and him became like really good friends. Like we were
Yeah.
in the bootleg scene, we were kind of like nemesis. Like we did not like each other on that. And then he's like a programmer, coder, and all this type of stuff. And he ended up helping with my own website, and we became really, really good friends. That's who recommended me to join Twitch. So yeah, that's what changed everything for me, and it made me go, right, okay, I'm gonna do what they did, not copy them exactly, but like take that
Right.
kind of it was like kind of like the punk style, like back in the very early 80s. Like it was going against everything. Unfortunately, the
Yeah.
clubs in my local area had not caught up with that yet. I remember playing Nirvana in a house club, and the boss came up to me and he was like, "What's this?" And I was like, "This is
What?
the future." Yeah. So that's kind of what I really did. Like that changed everything for me. But now it's like house music. I really love like go between really funky, like funky house, or my favorite band at the moment, and they've been around now for a long time, is Justice, the French band. They're amazing. The concert, which I highly recommend everyone to go watch. It's on YouTube. It's called Justice Live, and just type in Justice Live Hotel. It's 2 hours of the most amazing light show you've ever seen and the most amazing music you've ever heard. And I listened to that show. I linked it up to my lights in here during COVID like 4 times a day. It was like amazing. So, and that's something I've tried to bring to my streams, because, like what you said earlier, how people enjoy my streams, but they're not necessarily in my streams. And I'm like, because it's really hard when you're a DJ not to get feedback of people enjoying it. So I've tried to create as much fun and cool stuff so people like, fucking hell, like I feel like part of this. So I've got like a command, like a free bar called Drinkies. Basically, people can buy their friend a virtual drink, or like I've got strobe lights, fake fog machines, dancing, all the things, and I'm always trying to come up with ideas to make it the best DJ stream on Twitch. That's the plan, to become the biggest DJ on Twitch, because I'm not trying to be big head or anything, but I hear other DJs, and don't take this the wrong way, they might have a nice setup, but they know fuck all about DJing. And like, to be good, you gotta play
I,
good tunes, man. You can't just be relying on like,
this is
just the
what I'm
effects and
talking
stuff.
about.
Yeah.
I love this.
Yeah.
First off, please speak your mind,
Yeah.
because listen, I'm agreeing with you. There is yeah, I love your setup. I love what you do. I love the extra interactive things. It is like it reminds me of like being able to go out without, like, I'm a dad of two, and my wife works weekends and stuff, and so like I'm at that point in my life where like the party scene's kind of behind me, but it is nice to be able to kind of just sit here, like, I have lights in this room that I just kind of like, I enjoy, setting up the, quote unquote mood lighting kind of thing,
Sure.
and enjoying and stuff. But I also have, I don't know if it'll show up on the this video if you watch it on YouTube and stuff, but I created, one of my favorite bands at the moment is called Sleep Token, and I'm a huge fan of them. My wife and I are big fans, and so I made a sign and I got some LED lights. I threw it behind there, and there's a setting where it will just react to sounds and stuff, and so one night I'll just like, sometimes I'll just be sitting here working on like editing or doing something for the podcast or the stream or something, and I'll play the music and then the lights will react. But what's really fun for me is that when I'm not streaming, I don't have all the lights set up. So I will just have a dark room. Everybody's like sleeping. I'm trying to play a game or something,
Mm-hmm.
and I'll put the speaker next to the sign. And
Mm-hmm.
so while you have done the DJing and stuff, the my lights are reacting to it. So I'm having my own light show in here while jamming to your entire set,
Right.
just playing the game, which is why I it's so important that music and that vibe in what we do literally day-to-day basis, and so like it is one of those things where I don't know how to go about the interactions for it, but the views, the people who jump in and like listen to your whole sets and stuff, like these people aren't just doing what other streamers do,
Yeah.
where it's just they're like, hey, jumping in, saying hi, how's it going, kind of thing, and then they're in and out. uh Yours, like, I find myself more times than not where I jump in and then I sometimes will forget that I'm not listening to like just music that I have on my phone,
Sure.
because it just flows. And then sometimes the one thing that will throw me off sometimes, is I'll get really into it, and then the music will come down a little bit and you'll be like, hey, thanks for the follow, and I'll be like, whoa, what was that? Like,
Yeah. No, I
no,
get
it's a
that.
great time. I love it.
Yeah, and part of the so my occupation, I got my own video creative company. I get paid for my ideas. Don't really want to go too much into my job, but one of the things that I do love about the streaming is the gimmick. I call them gimmicks. Now when I had the gaming setup, like me and my mate ADJ, like he is a fucking genius at making like serious shit. Like he makes some really really cool stuff.
Yeah.
Um, he's made like a Who Wants to Be. Well, he helped me make a Who Wants to Be a Millionaire channel point.
Oh, nice.
And but I mean, it was like it's not just questions in chat. What happens is the entire stream changes, the entire layout changes. The Who Wants to Be a Millionaire question things pops up with A, B, C, D questions on it. It's got the music from there, got stars in the background, and that's all with a channel point, all automated. Don't have to press anything.
Wow.
Yeah, he's really cool at like helping me. Well, what happens is I go, "This is impossible. You can't do this," and he's like, "It can be done." I'm like, "It's impossible." And then
Yeah.
he'll be like, the next day, he'll be like, it's done. And yeah, he's very cool at that. But then, so I did his original like Twitch intro. Like we took inspiration from like a few other streamers, one of them being Doctor Disrespect, before he got done for being a
I
prick.
was gonna say, yeah.
Yeah. But we like the whole the showmanship of what he was doing, and
Right.
the scale of it. It's like, mate, this is what needs to be done. So we did this whole like as if he was like his intro is incredible. I'll send it to you after this. But it was like as if it's like an arena with massive screens with him playing games on each screen and all this type of stuff. But what we quickly learned was most people aren't in your stream at the beginning. So that countdown means dog shit. It doesn't mean
Yeah.
anything. And I've had loads of intros. I did an intro that was like the inspiration and the idea behind it was I want to show the history of gaming from the beginning of gaming to now. And then that was the thing. And then I thought, actually, what about doing an intro from the beginning of time to now? So I did this edit that must have about 2,000 clips in it, cut to some classical music. I'll send you it as well. And
I would love to see that.
it was an incredible intro. Unfortunately, no one got to see it because no one's in
What?
your stream at the beginning. Yeah. So on my
That
gaming channel, I've got like an intro that acts as a raid kind of trailer now as well. Like it's very short. So yeah, but going back to like mine and ADJ's like part like creative relationship, I would come up to him with an idea, and he would basically like code it, and it's like. And we would really, and I'm not sure, we would really push the boundaries of what can be done with Twitch and StreamerBot, and he doesn't have a stream deck, but the stuff he could do. Like he did this thing where like live, not pre-recorded, someone could do like exclamation cut. This skeleton would walk in behind him and chop his head off. Blood would spurt out, and then it would, and that nothing would be pre-recorded. Just the whole way did the effects and the whole way it worked, and
what?
yeah, it's insane. Like that's just one of the things. We did a thing where, well, not we, he did it. Where he got clips from Spider-Man. So you know the bit in Spider-Man. Oh God, what's it called? The one with the three Spider-Men in it.
Oh yeah. Okay, I got you.
When there's like the portal thing.
Yeah.
He cut himself into the movie, and he was in the portal rather than it being the movie. But what was
That is
genius
incredible.
was it was random. So every time that someone triggered that, it would actually be him like on camera. It wouldn't be like a pre-recorded thing. So he was very, very cool at coming up with these things. And yeah, so we kind of just like pushed. He's not streaming at the moment, but hopefully he will come back. He's a horror streamer. But hopefully he will come back to do that, because the gimmicks that he came up with and like the ideas we would come up with, we would spend, I'm not joking, days just like tweaking these things.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the part of Twitch that I really enjoy, because it allowed me to be social, be creative, and kind of scratch those itches that I get quite a lot.
That is incredible. I think definitely we're gonna need to have a couple conversations, because I I'm so afraid of the the copyright thing when it comes to like my streams and stuff, because
Right.
I don't know enough to be able to confidently just throw things out there.
Hmm.
So like you said, at the beginning of your stream, like I have like the little countdown thing, just says stream starting soon kind of thing, but it's just dead silent.
Right.
And I want so badly to change that, because we do have some people who will like jump in, and just kind of wait for the stream to start.
Hmm.
And I feel bad when it's just silence. And then when I do go to like take a break, go refill my water bottle or something, or whatever, I have a little slideshow that goes on for the like be right back, a couple like movie quotes that are just kind of like slightly changed to make a little more sense to the streamer kind of thing.
Hmm.
And but also that one's also completely dead silent. So if I just walk, if I'm like, hey, we'll be back in 4 minutes or something, let me go refill my stuff, for the
Yeah.
next 4 minutes it's dead silent. Like no one hears anything. You just see a silent slideshow, switching back and forth, and I never know what to do about it, mainly because I don't know, And so
I
like to have a friend who like can absolutely like take streaming to a whole new level is incredible.
Oh, it's insane! Like the stuff that he's done, because he started streaming way before me. We even got it so because he was doing really well with streaming, like he was building up a good
Yeah.
following, and because he's very much into his games. I don't really care about games. Like I don't care if I uninstall a game and never finish it. Like, but to
Right.
him is like he's got this mindset. I've got to finish this game, whatever.
I'm the
He's one
same
of these.
way. Yeah.
But so I get that. When he started, we figured out a way that I could clip from his stream with a button. It would download the footage directly to my editor, and then at the end of his stream, we would go, "Here's the highlights of today's stream." Press a button, and there will be a
What?
video playback of there will be a video playback of his best bits during that stream, up until probably like half an hour before the end. So like one game he was playing was, and I love this game, was like Alien Isolation. So just during that
Yeah, it's
game,
on our
as I'm
list.
watching it, I'm going, "That's a funny clip." Press the button, downloads to my timeline. So as I'm watching it, I'm editing like this thing as well at the same time, and then when it's done, push it out, and you get this really cool video of like a highlights thing. And I wanted to do more with that, but it became, well, I mean, Twitch have made it very difficult to do clips now. But
Yeah, it's a whole process now.
yeah. So but that was the thing, was like it was to music, it was edited, it was, people were blown away when they realized like, holy shit, this was done in the time for the stream like ending. We've got this whole highlights little like clip of what going on and
Yeah.
stuff. So that was a really fun challenge to do. I enjoyed that. And then like another thing that I did on stream, I wanted to do more than games before the DJing. So I came up with a show called I forget what it's called, Film Fights. And what Film Fights was, it was we'd get three people, and we would just very simply get like two movies, like say RoboCop, Terminator, and you got to say which one goes through, and like you build up your top 20 like movie lists of all time. There's a website called Flickchart. That's it, Flickchart, and that would allow you to basically do that. So I did that, but again, it took so much effort to make this thing and get you know what it's like, getting guests to like commit to
Yeah.
things, and it's very hard when you're trying to produce something and you're relying on other people. I had a podcast. This is how I got the name Cinegee. So my main passion is films, movies. That's like what I love the most. So I started a podcast called Cine Chill, and it was young filmmakers or people who were making movies, and it was just a conversation with them. And I got some really cool people on there. I got who did I get on there that I can tell you? I recorded an episode with the girl who's a sound designer, and I've known her for a long time. But the episode never went out because the audio at her side just wasn't very good. And I thought, for a sound designer to have really good audio, she's now working on Stranger Things. She's like one of the lead sound people on Stranger Things. Yeah,
What?
yeah. And I managed to get. I don't know if you like. I got quite a number of big YouTubers in the film space. A guy called Ryan Connolly, who has a show called Film Riot, which is like one of the biggest filmmaking channels, and I was a big fan of his for a long time. And it was just one of
Wow.
them. I started it and I thought, you know what, this is the list of people I would like to get. I'm just going to go and fucking try and get them on. And he was one of the first
Yeah.
to say, yeah, I'll be on it. I would like to bring that thing back, but again, podcasts was it was a difficult thing to do. Like the promotion, the editing. It wasn't video either; it was just audio. But the promotion, the editing, getting it out there, the website. But I did genuinely really like enjoy it. So the name Cine G was an amalgamation of Cine Chill. But literally, I needed a name for the Twitch thing, and
Right.
like, and originally it was Cine Gamers, And then about a year after Cine Gamers, it was like, I'm not really a gamer. So I was like, what about Cine? And I just said it out loud, like Cinegee. And I was Synergy. Ah, there we go. And that was it.
Yeah.
Synergy. So it's like Synergy, like SYNE
Right.
or GY, or yeah. So that's how it's pronounced. I get so many people when I go into streams like, "Oh, how do you pronounce your name? Is it Kinney? Kinney? Can I? Can I?" And I'm like, "Mate, fucking just Cinny. Just call me Cinny." So yeah.
Yeah. No, that's fantastic. 'Cause I had I kind of did the same, like a similar thing when I didn't know. I actually had the first 3 episodes of this show recorded and ready to go before I had a name for the show.
Right.
And it solely just boiled down to I was laying in bed one night and I was trying to think of because my first 3 guests were guests that they were like they're good friends of mine.
Sure.
So like there was no nervousness. There was like I've talked to these people a billion times,
Mm-hmm.
so it wasn't. I was asking questions for answers that I already knew because we've had conversations so long, and so I thought one night what are the 3 main things that you should hit every interview no matter what, and that is like the who are you, what got you into whatever we're talking about, and where are you at now, or like what are you doing now.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, well, if you have like the who, the what, and then the what. So I was like, well, who, what doesn't make any sense. But then I was like, well, the we always end with the current things that are going on, so that's the now. And then I was like, oh, well, just it's who, what, now. The main 3 things for every conversation that are
Right.
the main subjects of every interview, no matter what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And I was like, boom, there it is. And then it just happens to be that, we talk a lot about gaming. So I was like, throw gaming on there,
Right.
who,
Okay.
what, now, gaming. Now we have a title for the show. And it was literally just one of those nights where I was trying to go to sleep and I couldn't get myself to fall asleep. And it was just all I could think of. And then bam, show was born, it was
Yeah.
fantastic.
That's the way it happens. You can, coming up with names for brands and stuff. It can be like, I don't know. You can just be inspired by something. Like you think, fucking, giraffe. Where'd that come from? Or like, do you know what I mean? It's a random
Yeah,
word.
no, 100%.
But my ideas come to me mostly when I'm driving. Unfortunately, I can be driving and this will come to me like, "Fuck, that's a good idea." That, or when I'm like in bed, or not when I'm working. Like most of the time, it's like when I'm driving. Like I'll come up with an
Yeah.
idea, and I'll be like, "That's actually a good idea." That, and yeah. So, but I believe these ideas are like out there, and they just like they come to you already.
Oh, yeah,
You know what I
absolutely.
mean? So, but no, it's a good name for the. It's a great name for the for your podcast.
Thank you.
Because there's so many podcasts out there now,
Yep.
and it's like, but that's not a bad thing. And sometimes people get caught up with going, "I need to be different. I need to be different." Well,
Yeah.
it doesn't need to be different. It just need to be better than like someone else who's doing it. Do you know what I mean? Like that's
Yeah.
basically it. And that goes for like everything. If you like for streamers especially, like now that I'm on Threads, I see a lot of bad fucking advice out there. Sorry to swear, just so I'm British.
Please do. Swear away.
Like, and I've put out a few things there, and people are like, I don't agree with that. I'm like, cool, don't agree with it. But it's things like don't. I posted something the other day saying don't buy games that you don't want to play because you're just going to be miserable. Because I fell into that trap. Like when streaming started, I was like, I'm going to be the biggest streamer in the world. Blah blah blah. I didn't think that, but the kind of as you grown and stuff, the ego comes in, and you hear about these big games. And I remember hearing about. If you want, I'll go through my uninstall list of shame, and you probably fucking end the stream. Around the podcast.
I'm not gonna lie, I am a little curious because I'm like, wow, it seems like a list that would break someone.
Yeah. So I might have, if I've picked up any new fans from this, great, or followers, whatever. But just, you can leave now because you're probably going to be upset with the games that I've quit on. But games are so expensive, and streaming is
Yeah.
so expensive. Like I'm kind of lucky that it works for my business. Like I can kind of cross a lot of stuff out for a business expense. Like
Right.
I need this as a webcam. I mean, my webcam is my £2,000 Sony A7S with another £1,000 lens on it. You don't need to buy that. But like
Right.
when you get into this, you do, people will be saying, "Oh, I need the best stuff." And I mean, I'm struggling with this Go XLR at the moment, which was for the longest time perfect, but now for some reason it's making my audio glitch. That's a whole nother thing. Um, the whole thing with like, oh, I need a stream deck. I need a stream deck because a stream deck will make me a better streamer. It won't make you a better streamer. What will make you a better
Nope.
streamer is like being engaging with your audience who come in, being engaging, being consistent, and that's the two things you need. That's all. That literally, they're the only things you need to be a good. Obviously, you need a camera and all that, but that's what you need to grow as a streamer, is to be engaging
Of course.
and to be consistent. Because it's just like, back in the day when your favorite TV show was on and then it's not on one day, like, why isn't my TV show on? And they've moved it off the schedule. You find something else and then you forget about that other thing. And that's how it is with streaming. So, but I see an awful lot of bad advice on on Twitch, and a lot of like support for support, follow for follow. It's like, hey, who wants to follow me? No, don't give me a reason for following you.
Bang. Right
You know?
there. That's what I'm talking about. It's I think that was how I think I was like how I came across you, because I jumped on Threads,
Mm,
and solely by accident, because every time I would go on Instagram, it just kept having that little symbol at the top,
sure.
and so finally one day I was like, what is this thing?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And then it's like basically like Instagram's version of Twitter, and I'm like, well, because Twitter's horrible, so I'm just gonna move on to something that doesn't make me depressed and sad all the time.
Sure.
And so when I was going through, I started realizing there's a huge community for like content creators and streamers and people who like really truly just enjoy being around this like world.
Yeah.
And But yeah, there was a lot of ones where it was like, hey, if you're a streamer or whatever, drop your stuff below. And I kind of fell into that trap immediately when I was like, oh, this is awesome. Like I'll throw my
Mm,
stuff on there or whatever. And then it was like, hey, I'll follow you, you follow me kind of thing. And I was like, well, that doesn't make sense in my brain, because like one of my big things, and I say it all the time on stream, is that let's say you have you're trying your best, you're doing what you can stuff, and you end up hitting like 4,000 followers. That's awesome. But if every time that you start your stream, two people show up,
mm-hmm.
those numbers, they don't collaborate at all. And
Yeah.
and so you're like, well, I have 4,000 people supporting me, but only two people are actually showing up. And so I learned pretty quick that the follow for follow thing, that's not for us. If it's something that works for everyone else, awesome. But it's not something that works for us with with the show, with streaming. I want purely like genuine, interests to follow,
Yeah.
which is a big thing where I say, to people where they're like, hey, you should check my stuff out. I will gladly go check your things out,
Yeah.
100%. But I will follow if I enjoy what you do. If what you do makes me feel a certain way, awesome. Like you're going to get that follow from me, but you're not just going to get the number from me. I'm going to show up when I can. When I
Yeah.
have a free moment where I'm just doing something, I'm going to pull your streams up every single day. I will open up Twitch and I will find like, guests that I've had on the show, friends of mine who are, trying to just grow and be better and, create more, content and stuff. I will jump into those streams. Hey, how you doing? Just, hanging out. Sometimes I'll jump in and be like, hey, I don't have the time right now to jump in and be consistently interacting,
Yeah.
but I will be listening the entire time, kind of thing. And it's something that has worked for us. It's definitely a method that is an extremely slow growth, but it feels way more genuine. And we had somebody the other day join in on our stream and basically say like, hey, I really like what you do because like you're entertaining and you're interacting, and it feels like I'm actually getting through to the content creator instead of the like, I'm just watching the game.
Sure.
And I kind of thought like, yeah, that's 100%, because I don't need a camera, I don't need lights, I don't need mic to play a video game.
Hmm.
I've been doing that my whole life.
Yeah.
Doing the stream is just something that I'm enjoying. I'm not streaming the game because I want you to see how good at gaming I am.
Yeah.
I'm doing it because like it's kind of the median in between the 2 points that I want to do. And I
Yeah.
already do the podcast. I'm more for the conversational end of it. I'm
Right.
enjoying having this conversation, reaching out to people, having like, individuals like yourself joining the show where I get to have these fun conversations. I get to, without this platform, there's no way that I could have interacted with you. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And so it's those things that I strive for.
Right.
But also when you said, the self promotion and putting your things out there,
Yeah.
that is definitely one of the biggest struggles for myself, because I also don't try to throw what we do here with the show or with stream. I don't post it and say this is the best thing you're ever gonna see,
Right.
because it's all opinionated. I don't know if you're gonna like what I do. I would much rather say, hey, this is what I do. I'm trying to be as genuine as possible. If you end up liking what I'm doing, come hang out. Other than
Yeah.
that, like, thank you for your time, and thank you. I'm more thankful that you took the time to come and see what I'm doing than for you to just blankly throw a number at me so that I can collect a number or whatever. So like for here at the show, like when we hit our 50 followers for Twitch and we hit
Hmm.
affiliate, it meant more to me because I knew that all of those who follow the Twitch were there to hang out with me,
Right.
instead of just being like, hey, I saw you on Threads and I dropped you a follow kind of thing.
Right. Okay.
But
Yeah.
that's my
No.
2 cents.
See, what I would say is you want to be like I will be saying, hey, I am the this is the best podcast. Like you like you have to have a bit of an ego with what you're doing. So, like, do you know what I mean? Because it'll rub up people the wrong way, but also it's like if you're confident about what you're doing, people sort of
Yeah.
gravitate to that. And what you're saying about the 4,000, sorry, the 4,000 followers is
Yeah.
perfect analogy. Is do you want to have 4,000 people in your store and only two people buying, or do you want to have 50
Right.
people in your store and 50 people buying?
Oh, dude. Yeah. It's See, but this is why also I need people like you in my life for this stuff, because like it's you. I feel like I downplay what I do too much because I don't want to. I try really hard not to allow ego to like take over.
There's nothing wrong with ego. Trust me. No, but there really isn't anything wrong with ego, because it's like you can. I think the more confident you are about what you do, people just gravitate to that. If you were like, I think you're doing a great job with your podcast, by the way. I'm really enjoying it, and
I appreciate
um,
it.
if you're just like, oh hey, so you're just going, people don't like that. People don't want you to be fucking in like a rock star on stage. Do you know what I mean? Like full of confidence and but not in a arrogant way. There's like a little bit of arrogance is fine. But you also need a little bit of like empathy and a little bit of like class as well. Um, and also, what I think you're really good at doing on this podcast is listening, because fucking hell, when I used to do podcasts and I'd be talking to like a guest, it would be like I would be trying to like, and I know it's about them. The episode 100% is about them. Um, but I would be talking and they would like interrupt me halfway through, or kind of and it just wasn't a good dynamic. Like one of the worst ones I did, and I'm not afraid to say this on live. There was this YouTuber, and he was a big deal. Like he was a big deal, and I was like, this is going to be great. I'm like really excited, and it was. I like, so what got you into filmmaking? Like, what do you love about it the most? And he's like, don't really. Oh no, that wasn't filmmaker. It's like, what's your favorite movies? Because obviously, being a filmmaker, you think you must love movies. Um, and he was like, I don't really like films. I'm like, are you fucking joking me? I was like, right, okay. And what made it worse? Like, I had him down as a cinematographer. That was his thing, and I was like, okay, so I wouldn't say his name, but I was like, welcome to the podcast. How long have you been doing cinematography? He's like, don't really do it anymore. I'm like, fucking hell.
Dude.
So you don't like movies and you don't like you don't do what you said you did and why you agreed to be on this podcast. So it was really difficult, man.
That sounds brutal.
Yeah, it was. Have you had any guests like that where you've struggled to get, good content from them?
How do I say this? Yes, but I also think a lot of it plays into the like inexperience of being able to have a conversation with somebody about something like this.
Yeah.
Um, I will say, without like going into the specific episodes, there was a moment where I messaged the tech person of this show,
Right.
basically saying like, hey, we need basically like a paper or like a rule set
Mm,
saying like these are things that you need to expect when we go into doing something like this.
right.
And so we definitely created it and it's ready to be sent out. Now there are definitely like guests like yourself where I can understand that there's a level of professionalism that you already have and understand.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not something that I feel like I need to like send you beforehand. But there
It
are
might have
there
been
are
a bad
guests where I
idea
will
with my
send the
language. Sorry.
no, you please. It's one of those things where I will send the actual form and
Oh,
say like, hey, this is what to expect, this is what I'm expecting. Like the number one thing, this is an audio and video podcast,
yeah.
so I will need you to have a camera, some form of microphone, and you need to be in an area where you're going to be able to have silence.
Right.
um, I shouldn't hear things going on in the background, which is like going to really mess with the things in here.
Sure.
But other than that, I mean, so far I think I've really lucked out. There's been a lot of like all of my guests have been amazing, incredible, and I've had some amazing conversations.
And what's your like? What is the aim? Like, where do you want to take this?
So originally, this started as a passion project where I've been too afraid for years to put myself out there,
Mm-hmm.
and one day, I think it was last year during December, I went to a convention. And it was PAX West, and so, or no, not PAX West, PAX Unplugged, and so there was a panel where they were basically talking about how there needs to be, when creating content, you need to be able to create content that you want to hear,
Right.
so that you can follow it, or not follow it. Sorry. So you can create the content that you are unable to find. And so what I've always enjoyed is, we hear so many things about gaming or the things that are going on Twitch,
Mm-hmm.
and these content that we consistently consume all the time.
Yeah.
But what we never see is the insight from the people who create the content.
Mm-hmm.
And that's my goal, because I love the background things. So I love knowing that, I think it's something that we as consumers will consistently forget, and that is that everyone behind the camera is still just a person. we're all just people living on Earth,
Some of them.
and we all still have, thoughts, feelings, and concerns, and whatever.
Yeah.
And I think after somebody gets to a certain level of what do you call it, like fame, they're no longer people to the consumers. They're just something to consume.
Yeah.
And I think that's what we seem to forget a lot. And so I kind of want to break that stereotype, and I want viewers to say like, oh, hey, I love this person's stream, I love this, what this person creates, I want to know more about that person.
Right.
And not like diving into their personal life, but the work and effort and ideas and thought process that goes into creating this content that you love so much.
Yeah.
So even though, yes, we are a gaming podcast, it's more revolving around the gamers that are consuming it, which is why in the beginning I say we're a podcast, for consumers by consumers.
Mm-hmm.
We're all people,
Yeah, I would agree with with most of that for sure. Apart from, I think there's some people behind the camera that I've seen on stream that aren't people, but I'm not going to go into that. So, because Twitch does have its fair share of drama as well, which is something that I can't stand with any of these platforms. You can be the person of the moment, and then the next thing you just disappear type thing, which is a bit rubbish. But no, I think it's cool what you're doing, and just keep. Where does this go out, by the way? Does it go on YouTube? It goes on YouTube, doesn't it?
It goes on YouTube, but the audio version goes anywhere you can find podcasts.
Right. So it's not on OnlyFans just yet.
Yeah, I haven't figured out how to monetize completely on that platform.
Yeah. No, I'm joking. Yeah. So, no, but going back to like the streaming and game stuff, like I never call myself a gamer. I enjoy streaming. I'm enjoying it less, to be honest with you. The like from 2020 to like I've been doing it since 2020, and when I say I'm enjoying it less, I just feel there's more. Like when I started, there was more of like a Wild West to it. Like it was everyone was doing different things, which is what I'm all about. Like I love like different content, but what I hate is the meme trends and stuff. So like even things where, and again, I'll probably, if people like me, they probably won't after this, but it's fine. When you raid into someone and you hear the same scripted, thank you so much for raiding, what were you playing? Make sure you go use the toilet if you need to. Dude, if you need to tell me to use the toilet, then I should not be streaming. You know what I mean? And it annoys us. Like, just make sure you do your self care. I'm like, you don't need to say that to someone. I get that you've heard someone else say it. I think, oh, that sounds a nice thing to say. I'm going to say that. Or, another question they'll say is like, oh, I love that. Like when they get a follow from someone called, I don't know, like massive giraffe or whatever, they'll be like,
Yeah.
how did you get your name? I love that name. And it's like they've read the same blogs, they've seen the same advice, like comment on someone's name, ask the same questions. And it's like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? And even things like, the crab dance. I hate seeing the same gimmicky, jokey stuff on everyone's stream. Like I remember when I got into it and everyone was doing different things. You know what I mean? And I feel like everyone's kind of, because they've seen someone that's successful do one thing, then they're copying it. And then it's like, just because it was good for them doesn't mean it's going to be like, good for you. So,
Absolutely.
yeah. So if anyone's offended by that, well, do better.
Yeah, if anybody's offended by that, fuck off.
Yeah.
That's my thing. Like when we do streams, I always try to be as myself as possible. I always try to be genuine and stuff. And we there's somebody, I love him to death. He's amazing. He keeps like donating to the stream, and as much as I'm
great.
happy for it,
yeah,
it's super awesome. But I'm also like, hey, dude, like you don't have to be spending so much. Like, stop throwing money at me, you know?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
just
yeah.
you just being here enjoying everything makes me feel rich inside.
Sure.
Like, but it's also, I appreciate it 1,000%.
Hmm. Yeah, one of my
But also,
biggest
like, save
gripes,
some of your money.
one of my biggest gripes with Twitch, and I posted this the other day on Threads, is how Twitch are very clever at monetizing their platform. Like they come across as, oh, we're all, all one big Twitch family, and everyone loves each other, and we're doing this thing called September, and it's like the part of Twitch that I can't stand are things like, and anyone who's done one, I'm not going to apologize. Is things like subathons. Don't make you getting money content. Do you know what I
Yep.
mean? Because it's not content. It's like, what's the difference between you getting money than some poor person who doesn't have a house asking for money on the street? And that might sound harsh or cruel, but it's where I come across. So, one of the main charities that I get involved with are homeless charities, and so it comes from a place when it really does piss me right off when I see people going, right, so sub goal, when I hit 300 subs, I'm going to go in a bath of beans. Great, I'm happy for you. Or I'm going to write your name on a fucking balloon. I'm sorry. Now, let me just polish that with this.
Yeah.
I don't mind if people want to donate and help the streamer friends. Yeah, I applaud them to do it. That's great. But it should always be about the person who is making that donation on their own terms and their own mindset without being pushed or persuaded. And they streamers might not realize this, but they are using Twitch's biggest manipulation um practices without even like realizing it. And if you're in a room full of people doing something like, I don't know, gifting subs, and the reaction to the stream is, oh my God, stop it. You're embarrassing me. Oh, this is so embarrassing. Oh, stop it. And people are like, oh, this is funny. They're getting embarrassed by giving them money. Here's some more. And it's like, fuck off. Don't be doing that shit. I hate
Oh
it.
my God, it drives me crazy.
It's really bad. And don't get me wrong. I know there's streamers out there who don't necessarily are doing it for the money. This is the other thing with Twitch, like the subathons. I think a lot of them that do it, they just do it because it's part of being in the Twitch, like ethos, part of it being in like, oh, that it's a cool little event, and it's to
Yeah.
celebrate me hitting this, and it's like I hate that side of things. So if anyone ever subs to me, I'll be like, thank you very much for the sub, but I'm not going to be singing and dancing and like saying, "Oh my God, I love you so much," because no, because the person who can't afford to sub to you and might be struggling for money, if they feel left out, or even worse, if they use money that they haven't got, then that I think that's out of order.
Yeah, no, I agree. I don't do I will do so like I'll thank you. I'll make sure that, if you're new to the stream, like I'll talk to you. But that's also things that I'll do regardless. Um I think the only thing that I have is that I'll make my hands into a heart shape, and like little hearts will come out of it or whatever.
Hmm.
But other than that, like I don't do crazy like jumping around things. I always do tell people that, like, hey, if you have like Amazon Prime, you get like one free like sub and everything.
Yeah,
But I don't say it like, hey, I'm looking for you to sub to the channel. I'm saying it like, hey, if there's any streamer that you truly enjoy, that they've gotten past that 50 follower mark, ads are all over the place. And if you just don't want to watch the ads, there you go. You know.
yeah.
But other than that, like I'm not going to change the way that I'm streaming, solely because of the amount of like subscribers I have. One of my big rules, though, during all of this is that if you do feel like you want to donate, or I always call it like a tip. I call it tipping
Hmm.
because donating. I'm not a charity case. Like I have a good job. I live a very like decent life. Like I don't need money.
Yeah,
Um, so what I do is that if you do end up tipping to the stream, that money just goes into this project.
Right.
I don't say like, oh, thank you, I was able to pay my rent this week, or oh, hey, thank you, I was able to put food on my table. Like, no, I have a job for that, you know. If you are like, hey, we really want to see you play this game, and then people donate and they say, hey, this is our treat to you, play the game, then like, yeah, absolutely, go for it, you know. But
Yeah.
if you're just donating or, you know, tipping to the stream and stuff, I just take that money and I what I ended up doing in the beginning was I got lights,
Right.
and then, you know, we'll upgrade, you know, the camera and stuff. When I first started streaming, I was just using my computer's camera.
Yeah.
And then I was able to kind of upgrade and, you know, doing these things. So it's like, whatever money I do make from this just goes back into the stream. Like, keeping the streaming life and my home life are completely separate.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. So I think most people like are like, you know, do think that way. What I say, because I don't sub to anyone now. I use Twitch Turbo. That's it. If I don't want ads, Twitch Turbo. It's the same price as what, two subs or something. I'm not sure, but I
I didn't even
mean,
know Twitch Turbo was a thing.
yeah, so Twitch Turbo will basically, I think it's 12 quid a month or something like that. But basically, you don't get ads. Whatever stream you go on, no ads.
Nice.
But obviously, the incentive to sub to someone is, well, you get emotes. I don't care about emotes. I don't give two shits about emotes. I have them because, you know, it's part of the thing, but I don't really care about that. For me, when I was doing the DJ stuff on my original channel, the subs allowed you to get things like, you know, more time with the strobes or like lasers and stuff like that, because that stuff can be a pain in the arse. If I have everybody triggering that stuff up, like, it could crash the whole stream. So I would still want people to be able to use that, just not everybody to use it. So that's why I put them as like
Sure.
under, like, behind a paywall, so to speak. So yeah, but no, monetization with this isn't really. It's not why I stream.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, the time, it is now an hour and a half has gone by so fast.
Right.
So I definitely would like at some point to have you back on the show, because this was fantastic. I thoroughly enjoyed this.
Yeah.
I, like I told you before we started recording, at the end of every episode, I always love to keep the floor completely open to plug and promote anything and everything that you would like to. And then the only thing that I would ask is, you know, at some point this week, you know, send me the links to these things so I can put them in the bottom of the description of this episode.
So something to plug. Jeez. I mean, the only thing I can plug, I've not got an album coming out or anything.
You
So I
should.
guess, well, there's a project that so there's my djcinegee, which hopefully will be back as soon as I get the Go XLR working with it. I ain't going into technical stuff because I don't do technical stuff. There's a project that me and my friend ADJ are working on. We've just been talking about it. We haven't got a name for it yet. But he's really good at video games, and he's really good at programming, and he's always wanted to make a game. So
Nice.
I'm like an ideas man, as I said at the beginning of this. So we are going to start a podcast, YouTube, whatever it's going to be, and it's going to document us learning how to make a video game, like a real video game, like probably a graphic adventure or something like that.
That would be incredible.
So yeah, that's what we're going to be doing. We're gonna kind of, as I say, document it. So each week we're going to be tasked with whether it's a piece of software or I don't know. I don't know anything about video game creation. He does because he's done a little bit of that stuff, but he was like really fired up for this idea. So when I know what that's going to be called, you know, I'll let you know. But my main channel is it's Cinegee. I stream occasionally. I would like to do it more regularly, but just at the moment, work is really quite busy. And yeah, and the DJ stuff is the DJ Synergy channel. And if you come along to that and I'm live, ask for any song and I will guarantee I will mix it into what's playing. So there we go.
I'm gonna challenge you.
You can challenge me all you like. I'm
I'm gonna do it.
unchallengeable. Honestly, someone came in the other day and asked for a record. I was like, it's already done. Like, you can't do it. Fucking watch me. So
listen, challenge accepted.
yeah.
Thank you so much for being here today. This
Hey,
was
my pleasure.
awesome. If you want to find this show, you can find us on YouTube. You can find us on Instagram, TikTok, all of the. Actually, those are really the only social media areas that you find us. But we do have our new and improved link tree finally fixed up, so there's not like 1,000 different links all over the place. So that'll be in the description below. So as always, please, please, please go outside, look up at the sky, feel the sun on your face, hug a tree, high five a squirrel, and we will 1,000% see you on the next one. Have a great day.